Okay, everyone, I'm back at work. Woo! Being back at work is like being back at home for me. I love it. So anyway, and it's like beautifully sunshiny today, and I'm not in pain. So like skipping, and I got Depraloft yesterday. Life is good, people. So anyway, I was thinking yesterday, like I always am, about stuff, and one of the things that I was thinking about was there was this idea that came to me about kid fantasies and adult fantasies, and how they're both so much the same. Like a kid, is fantasizing about, like, when I get older, I am going to, buy all the candy and stay up all the time and drive anywhere I want to, and like all these different things. And then when you try it, it does not work out very well, right? You get sick, and it's just not very fun. And then adult fantasies are the exact same way, except for the fact that they lie to you and say that they work, and they really don't. Like, it's hilarious to me, because they will have, people on TV who there's these lies that we're told to believe, because they're profitable for the people who are making money off of us. So they say, like, if you buy this car, if you buy this house, if you have this type of woman or man, if you just come to Hollywood, if you just do this, this, and this. And it's all the same as a kid fantasy, except we're told that it works. And like, you're not really allowed to come out and say that it doesn't work. Like, people, they just don't do that as much. There's, people always go to rehab and all these different things. And I feel like a lot of people want to get to that kind of a lifestyle, but maybe they can't because it's too expensive, or just, circumstances prevent them. But they still have that fantasy. And because you're not allowed to just like gorge yourself like you can as a kid, where you just eat all the candy and feel sick and feel gross and everything, then you always have this desire, and it's you get mad almost at the people who can do it and you can't. So there's like, people people get jealous and angry, and when someone does go to rehab or has a breakdown or whatever, people just like, ha ha, and they laugh at them, just as someone would if, like, a kid had a bunch of candy, or had the cool toy and the toy breaks or whatever, and everyone's like laughing at them and stuff like that, because that's just the cruelty of human nature. And it's just funny to me that, like, we don't wake up as adults, that it's not going to fulfill your it's not going to fulfill you. It just won't. So I found that really funny, and I was I thought it was hilarious. I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, it's the exact same thing. And also, like, parents, you can't, I was telling this to my mom, every time that I'm not doing well and I go and teach like a weight loss or a health class or something like that, my group does worse no matter what I tell them, because my energy is not good. When my energy is better, my group just does better, even if I don't say anything about how I'm doing. Like, I'm usually pretty honest with my groups, and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on in my life. Like, you don't want to be, you're not in the group, you're facilitating the group. But if my energy is bad and I'm not being a leader, it doesn't matter what I say. And it's even if I'm saying all the right things, it's your energy. So I think that as a parent, like, even if you look on the surface like you're great, but you're doing things behind the scenes that are terrible, eventually it will come back to bite you. It always does, and it always will. It's all about your energy. And people don't like to see that, because they want to be able to do their own thing, in the shadows. And it really doesn't give you joy. It really doesn't. What gives you joy is knowing that you're doing the right thing. Being happy with yourself. Even if you're never like really happy a day in your life, you can be happy with yourself. And being happy with yourself, you can't put a price on that. You cannot put a price on that. So anyway, those are just my words for today. Just, the fantasy world is so, it's like cotton candy. It promises so much and it delivers so little. And the quicker you are to realize that, the happier you're going to be. And that's just the way that it is. So start, living by the meat and the bones of life. And it's the hard work. It's the, recognizing when you're wrong, not blaming other people. Don't ever blame anybody. Like, even if something is legitimately somebody else's fault, I'm not saying to accept blame for everything, because that leads you to being a doormat. But like, what if nobody ever said sorry to you? How would you go on? Like, could you go on? That is the main thing. Even if nobody ever apologized, because I feel like people a lot of times are waiting for like this apology from someone, waiting for a parent, sibling, boss, whatever. You know what I mean? What if they never say sorry? Just move on. You have to at some point move on. And I like, you can only do that, I think, when you've accepted how bad you've been, and you ask forgiveness from God, from the people you've harmed, and then and forgive yourself, and then you move on, and you're just grateful just to, like, things could be a lot worse. People, like, I mean, I know that sounds kind of pessimistic or something, but like, people are always like, oh, why do bad things happen to good people? And I'm like, why do good things happen at all? Like, I mean, I'm always surprised when something goes well. It's like a building got put up. Do you realize how hard it is to like manage a group of people to do something? Do you realize how what a miracle it is that you survived your childhood? We are surrounded by so many everyday miracles that people just don't even think about it anymore. I mean, you live in a home that is probably, heated and maybe even air conditioned. I mean, that is a modern miracle. They didn't have that. I mean, kings, you live better than kings did. So it's like, just, having stuff, and it will never make you happy. You could live like a prince or a princess, and it will never make you happy until you're happy with yourself. Find out what it's going to take for you to be happy with yourself. And maybe that even means some deprivation. Maybe that means that you don't get everything that you want. I was thinking about that this morning. My sister made some brownies last night, and I was laying in bed this morning, and I was like, I normally would go down there and have a bite of a brownie, first thing in the morning, and I was like, I'm not going to do that this morning, and I'm going to just have my healthy food, and I'm going to have that after I have my lunch. I'm going to do the order of operations and make sure that I'm following through, and I'm looking forward to my brownie, and I'm going to enjoy it more than if I just had one first thing in the morning. So I think sometimes we're obsessed with making ourselves comfortable, and sometimes it's about it's getting yourself comfortable with being uncomfortable. Whatever that means for you. It's like, maybe you need to be lonely for a while. Maybe you need to realize that no one is going to fill that loneliness except for God, and being your own best friend. Maybe it's going to take not having money, maybe it's and not having the comforts of this world, and recognizing that that's not the most important thing. Maybe it's going to take, losing what you think is really important, and is just, at the end of the day, it's not that important. What's more important is your conscience being able to go to sleep at night with, and feeling free. That's the most important thing you can ever do for yourself. So anyway, I love you all. I am praying for you today, and I hope that you just have a wonderful, fabulous day. Have some great deep thoughts. Turn on some classical music, or some music you can think to. Don't be a slave to the emotionalism of the world, and just be very blessed. And we're turning over a new leaf. It's starting to be spring, and we've kind of pushed through that hard phase of getting over the winter, and now it's going to get warmer and beautiful. And so enjoy the good when it comes. There's good and bad in every day. Embrace the good, plow through the bad, and have a wonderful day.